Today is Friday, January 14, 2022. It's National Bagel Day. Hope you are having a wonderful day today. Thank you so much for letting us be a part of your day. If you have a great time and don't mind, please do post us, share us, or tell others about us. If you don't like what you hear, then tell no one. Anthony, Cullen, my co-stars, how's the weather?
It's cold, but it's Friday, and, it's a good day.
It's a damn good day. Damn good day.
I agree.
It's a damn good day.
So, let's start off hot. Who got snubbed in the pros? Who got snubbed in the All-Pro announcement?
So there's a bunch. Obviously, the first and the second team were announced today. 14. I don't know if y'all knew this. 14 of the All-Pros are making their debut this year. That is an insane number. It shows the kind of shift the NFL is having this year with the shift of talent, the old guard, letting in the new age. Personally, to me, I thought they did a really good job with this list. I agree with Aaron Rodgers as the quarterback. I agree with Jonathan Taylor, obviously, as the running back. The wide receivers, Cooper Kupp and Davante Adams. You could argue those guys are the two best wide receivers in the NFL right now. They really did nail this list, honestly. If I had to personally sit there and say, who do I think could be elevated as possibly a first-teamer instead of maybe like a second-teamer or something like that, it is a little biased, I'll first off admit, but I still think Bobby Wagner was capable. He was listed as a second-team All-Pro this year. He led the NFL in tackles up until he got hurt in Week 18. I think he still finished top 3. Mall of consistency for a Seattle defense that was not great all year, but he's been the best middle linebacker arguably for the last 5-8 years, and I honestly thought he should have gotten more recognition. They did give it to, obviously, I'm not going to discount what Micah Parsons did or Darius Leonard for the Indianapolis Colts, but Devondre Campbell, I feel that that one was arguable, in my opinion. So
yeah, with this list, you have, like you said, just going down the list for all the listeners who don't know, as Cullen was talking about, the AP NFL All-Pro team just came out today for 2021. You have Aaron Rodgers, Jonathan Taylor, Mark Andrews, Davante Adams, Cooper Kupp, Deebo Samuel, Trent Williams, Tristan
Wirfs.
And the list goes on with some of the players who you think who
Don't
should be on this
Zach
list.
Martin.
And yeah, Zach
How
Martin.
can you not mention Zach Martin?
Zach Martin for sure. Jason Kelsey. T.J. Watt, Myles Garrett on the defensive side. Aaron Donald, Cam Hayward, Darius Leonard, Micah Parsons, who is a rookie for Dallas. Trayvon Diggs, Jalen Ramsey. This list is good. I think they could have added some more. I think for the second team, they didn't have another running back. There's only one running back on this whole squad, which is not bad. I understand, but
that's how dominant Jonathan Taylor was compared to the other running backs this year, if we're being honest.
It's a pretty good representation. I'd agree.
Yeah.
But you're going to tell me
had Derrick Henry be,
I'm about to say, if Derrick Henry hadn't gotten hurt, I would agree.
He'd still be leading the league in rushing yards. Even after he got injured, he was in top 5 rushing leader for like 3 weeks.
I think he ended up finishing top 8, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have the list pulled up in front of me, but I'm pretty sure even he hasn't played a game since Halloween.
Yeah.
He hasn't played a game since Halloween, and he's still a top 10 rusher.
And he's coming
NFL.
back, too, which is like spooky.
Here's man. Another argument, again, this is one of those things, I don't know who you would take off from the first team, but J.C. Jackson from New England.
Just to come back in, Derrick Henry was 9th in the rushing leading. He had 937 yards with 10 touchdowns.
In what, like 8 games?
It does not.
If Derrick Henry was
it
playing
doesn't tell me games, but it does say 219 attempts.
Yeah.
That's more than Elijah Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
Which he's ranked above him, not by a whole lot, but still, to be injured and be top 9.
Yeah, that's big.
Yeah.
That says something about you.
Dominant.
For real.
He was dominant.
And if if he was still playing, if he wasn't injured, then I would say I would put him first and then Jonathan Taylor second team.
And not to mention, of the top 9 that he's part of, he has more than or the same amount of rushing touchdowns. He has more than Elijah Mitchell. He has more than Antonio Gibson, more than Dalvin Cook, more than Najee Harris, and more than Nick Chubb. The only people who have more is Ezekiel Elliott with 10, or equal to, like I said, Joe Mixon with 13, and Jonathan Taylor with 18.
Joe Mixon, honestly, you could make the real argument should have been that second option.
Mixon he's good, man.
Yeah, no, he really. I'm really glad to see that he did well.
I think he gets
year.
overlooked by that powerful Cincinnati offense with Joe Burrow and that Jamar Chase connection. I think he gets overlooked a little bit, but do not count out Joe Mixon to get shifty.
Yeah, that's true.
No, I mean it's not only that, because I totally agree. Like Joe Burrow, that LSU connection. I mean that's what you think of when you think of Cincinnati.
Right.
But not just that. But Joe Mixon's been in the league. I want to say this is either his 4th or 5th year. He's had injuries throughout his career. He's been dinged up. He's been banged up. He hasn't been able to stay healthy. And this was truly like the first year where he was like just consistently great throughout. Because we all saw the talent when he came out of Oklahoma as a 4th-round pick. And he's finally got to showcase what he was able to do, obviously with a quarterback in Joe Burrow who ascended. Joe Burrow led the league in completion percentage. I don't know if y'all know that. Joe Burrow led the league.
And how many interceptions did he have?
Not a lot. Not a lot.
Barely any.
Not a lot.
Well, not to mention he's coming back this year from an, I believe it's an ACL
ACL injury
from last year.
Yeah.
Right.
Which, I mean, if Dak didn't have what happened to him and he had played as good as he did play this year, Joe Burrow would definitely take that. But, I mean, it's going to have to be Dak for comeback player of the year. I'd be shocked if Joe Burrow got it over him.
It's gonna be a tough contest. I think Joe Burrow is gonna finish top 4 NFL MVP odds. I'm not saying I agree with that personally. I'm just saying I think a lot of the NFL voters are going to be kind of swayed by Joe Burrow. So I think it's going to be a lot closer race for comeback player of the year than some people might give it credit for.
Well, I'm going to throw in a hot take pretty early.
Okay. Clean it up.
How hot are we talking right now?
It's not that like medium.
It's pretty lukewarm.
Yeah,
Okay.
Lukewarm. Okay.
So,
lukewarm.
And I don't know if y'all are going to agree with me or not, but I don't think Trayvon Diggs should be. I don't think he should be an All-Pro.
All-Pro.
You're wild.
As a Cowboys fan, you're saying that.
Yes, as a Cowboys fan, I
The
mean
disrespect.
Definitely
from this
second
side
team.
of the room. The disrespect.
Okay, and I'll tell you why. He gives up so many yards. Yes, I get it. He leads the league in interceptions, and that's fantastic. As a Cowboys fan and the defense that we had last year, I love that. Don't get me wrong. But he is such an oddball of a player. He can get an interception, but he goes after the ball so much that he gives up a lot of yards. And he gets burnt quick.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong because, I mean, over the time, like, if he misses the interception or he's going or if he's going one-on-one and the opponent gets the catch, yeah, he's not going to be able to catch him. He's not no DK Metcalf speed. Like, he doesn't have that where he can just go catch the receiver and tackle him down. I mean, he can catch the ball because he played wide receiver in Alabama.
Yeah, he played receiver in Bama.
Yeah, that's where he made the switch to corner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's like, I kind of see what you're talking about, but I think the interception is just...
I get it.
They speak for themselves.
I'm not saying that he don't deserve it.
Yeah.
I just think you could probably find a quarterback that's been a lot more efficient. Like, I mean, for instance, Anthony Brown, he has his own issues with penalties, but he doesn't give up a lot of yards either.
Let me ask you this, all right? Can I attempt to put maybe a couple ice cubes in your lukewarm take?
Let's see. Let's see what you got.
Can you maybe just not say completely out of the All-Pro team? Maybe just say second team?
No,
All-Pro?
I said that. I said definitely second team.
Did he not say just out of the All-Pro team in general? Like, did he not just say just take him out in general?
I mean, maybe it's just the first team.
Okay,
no, that's what I'm saying. If you're going to sit there and say he doesn't deserve first team, totally understand. That's why I was trying to make the argument for J.C. Jackson.
Well, then I correct myself that I did not mean to say completely out of the All-Pro race. I meant to say, like, not first,
Right.
Not first, definitely second.
So you would say that J.C. Jackson should replace Trayvon Diggs in the first team? Or who would you replace Diggs with then?
I mean, I don't know. That's a great question. Jalen Ramsey for sure has to stay. I mean, it's Jalen Ramsey,
Yeah.
but
Do you have the number of how many interceptions Diggs had this year? I mean, I know it was over 10.
11.
it was 11.
So it was 11.
Because I was trying to see if he would pass the franchise record, but he didn't. He just tied it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's still an amazing accomplishment, but ultimately...
I'm not downplaying it. I'm really not. It's fantastic. But
Seems a little downplayed, but,
I really wish he would catch 11 interceptions and still not give up 1,000 passing
Well,
yards.
ultimately, with the way the NFL game is now, I mean, if you're getting that many opportunities thrown at you, yeah, I mean, it's great that he's able to capitalize on a lot of them, like you guys were saying, but if they're throwing you that many times with knowing that you're getting that many picks, it says something on film that you're not maybe the most elite cover guy, especially like in man or when you're on an island like that. So,
Like, I mean, Dak doesn't even throw it to Diggs. And that's in practice.
yeah,
Like, that's crazy.
it is crazy. Wow. Any surprises on the All-Pro team for you guys? Was there anything in particular that you guys just kind of just popped out at you?
I mean,
Potentially?
I think just the biggest thing is just you're only going to have one running back. I mean, because there was a lot of running backs, and I think you could have at least put another one on there, even if it was Najee Harris. I mean, I know the Steelers weren't great, but I mean, hey, he put in the work, though. I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, I know there's probably some.
I mean, even with the Steelers not being great and that O-line kind of being
Not great
rough,
either.
I mean,
Yeah.
even with the stats he put up, I mean, he still did. I think he did pretty good.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're asking if there's any surprises.
Right.
No, I don't have any surprises. But I mean, man, let's just highlight how good Justin Tucker is.
Yeah.
He's been doing it for a while now, right?
Well, here's the thing. So in terms of accomplishments, Adam Vinatieri, like, you can't argue the pressure kicks that he's made in his lifetime. But Justin Tucker, in terms of just kicking the ball through the uprights, is the greatest kicker I have ever personally witnessed.
Of all time.
Yeah.
I'm putting it there.
I'd have to agree with that.
Because it's just the rate that he does it, the fact that he now holds the record for the longest field goal in NFL history at, 67, 68 that he kicked earlier this year?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guarantee you, if he ever makes it again, it ain't gonna be on a bounce.
Oh, my
No.
God.
No. That's going straight through.
I bet you, the competitiveness that he lives with, I can almost guarantee you that he's upset that he made it on a bounce.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
if you ask him
Yeah.
about it, he'd probably be like, yeah, I don't think it really counted.
I mean, it did count.
I mean, it
I
did.
mean, but his
It
personal,
did count.
like
But-
for him personally, like
but in
yeah,
a
it didn't.
competitive view, he's going to be like, no, I can drill it.
Right.
I can make it.
Like
I mean,
straight
in
through.
practice, in practice and
I feel like he goes
pre-games,
farther.
I just want to know, like, because obviously Tucker is at the elite end of kickers in the National Football League. I wonder how he kind of challenges himself, like on a day-to-day basis. Because he could probably sit there after warming up and just make kicks like it's nothing, So I'm just kind of curious as to, like, what kickers do to kind of push themselves to that next level to kind of create that atmosphere of, like, a tough kick. Like, 3 seconds left in the game, you're at your 40-yard line or at the opponent's 40-yard line, you're kicking a 57-yarder to win a playoff game. Like, how to simulate that or...
Yeah,
just
that
make it
pressure-
or how to
That
deal with
was a lot.
that mental pressure anyway.
Absolutely. Yeah. So,
I mean, he showed it in Texas, so
That's true. Ain't that the truth?
a little Texas bias there?
a little bit.
A little
but,
bit? Okay.
And I mean, while we're at it, let's highlight: is LSU wide receiver university?
I mean, LSU might as well be LSU, like, NFL.
I mean, I give it to him.
Low-key.
I give it to him for real.
Them in Alabama, man. I
Like
mean,
that's it
Yeah. Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, 2 home runs in a row. Like,
for sure. Especially Jamar Chase.
Yeah. And don't sleep on Terrence Marshall Jr. out of Carolina either. I mean, I'd give him some time. He'll be a really solid receiver in the NFL too. And obviously Odell Beckham Jr., we all know who he is. And I mean, they got a squad.
I just think how crazy it is how Jamar Chase got so good. Like, I'm not saying he wasn't good back in college, but I mean, last year.
Because I started watching him when everybody was keeping their eyes on Justin Jefferson. I remember whenever they were on that title run, I saw him dust a dude, and I was like, whoa. I was like, that guy. I was like, hold on a minute.
Yeah,
I was like,
especially
when
in the championship
I
game.
was like, I went on my laptop. I was like, when does that guy go in the draft?
Right.
What was the
Right.
game? I'm trying to remember. It was the game that he had like 4 touchdowns in the first half. I want to say it was against Oklahoma, maybe? Or am I thinking of Jefferson?
I can't remember.
Because it was the year that LSU won the championship, and I remember it wasn't the championship game. It was the game against Oklahoma in the college football playoff, the game before, where one of them just went absolutely berserk, and I just remember the celebration of them just putting up each finger until they got to 4 touchdowns by the end of the first half, and it just showed how just absolutely utterly dominant LSU was compared to an Oklahoma program who, don't get me wrong, they dominated the Big 12, but they just were not on the same level as LSU that day. So
yeah, Oklahoma. Obviously Oklahoma's quarterback. Obviously, every quarterback is basically going to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
They've had plenty for sure. And I think just drafting wise, the Bengals did a heck of a job. They did a hell of a job, honestly.
They really did.
Like getting Jamar Chase and then drafting Joe Burrow like the year before.
They also did a really great job in free agency as well. They signed Trey Hendrickson from the New Orleans Saints this past offseason, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he's second in the NFL in sacks this year, behind, obviously, TJ Watt. So, great job by the Bengals. I think they also got a corner. I want to say, was it Trey Waynes?
That's wild, bro.
Yeah, the Bengals.
Like second behind TJ?
Yeah, Trey Hendrickson, yep.
So are we? Let's wrap it up. Are we really surprised by any of the picks? Tom Brady over,
that's obvious. If Tom Brady was on that list, then I'll be like, what in the world are you guys doing?
But do we agree with the Aaron Rodgers over Tom Brady though? Tom Brady is, some would say, playing the best football of his life, but some would also say so is Rodgers. But Tom Brady's 44.
I think it's one of the things is like, yes, Brady's setting all these amazing accolades. For the record, the voting out of the 50 voters who voted, I believe it was 34 voted for Aaron Rodgers to be first team, and then it was 16 voted for Tom Brady.
Wow.
So it was
kind of a surprise.
Well, at least you probably
there you go.
At least you kind of know where the MVP votes is going to go.
That's what I'm saying. And to be honest, Brady's kind of in an offense where Bruce Arians, he wants to push the ball down the field, take shots, like put yards up on the board. It's why Brady was ahead a lot of categories in yards per attempt, all this other stuff. Not saying that Brady can't do it and Brady's not great, but when people sit there and be like, oh my God, Brady's just amazing over the top, the numbers are skewed just a little bit, in my opinion.
Yeah. Anyway, so is Brooklyn going to be the favorite? Kyrie, they're saying Kyrie can play full time, and if Kyrie can play full time and James Harden can pull his act together and act more like James Harden, is Brooklyn going to win the whole dang thing?
Do you want to go or do you want me to go?
Go ahead. You already knew what happened. We talked off the air about this, and
we did.
Whenever my good old Chicago Bulls lost to your Brooklyn Nets, it's okay.
So we talked about this earlier in the weekend. Like you said, it was before the Brooklyn Nets were going against the Chicago Bulls, who were 1 and 3 respectively in the Eastern Conference. If you saw through the first half, it was actually a pretty close game.
It was.
A very low competitive. Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Durant, Harden, Kyrie. It was a show. It was 2 of the best Eastern Conference teams putting on a show in a January regular season game, and then that third quarter happened, and the Brooklyn Nets absolutely blew the doors off the Chicago Bulls. And it's one of those things that, getting back to my original point, right? Chicago is a really run team. They put it together a lot of nice pieces in the offseason. They're competitive on the defensive end,
including Alex Caruso.
Absolutely,
can't forget him.
Absolutely. But to me personally, that's the big thing that Kevin pointed out at the beginning of this block. If Kyrie Irving can somehow figure a way to get to where he's playing home games consecutively, he gets back into more basketball shape, and he's continuing to progress, the sky's the limit from this Brooklyn team. I just think that if all 3 of those guys are playing at the top level, like you said, assuming Harden can get up to that level as well, the sky's the limit for Brooklyn. Like I
can't get back to that level.
Yeah. Again, that's...
I feel like the problem is...
You said get back to that level. What do you mean?
Because he said that James Harden's got to get to that level. I think he's got to get back to that level.
Right? Yeah, and if he gets back to that level, then we'll see something that we've never seen before from the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's an issue with having 3 superstars trying to lead a team.
We've seen it work before, haven't we?
True. Very true, but...
Golden State.
Yes, true.
Miami.
I don't know. Only time will tell. We're not that far into it, but I don't think Brooklyn's gonna win it. But
I mean, I don't think so either.
So who would
Because
y'all's teams be then?
I mean, at the end of the day, we all hype up these big teams. We all, the media and everybody that we all hype up these big teams that got the most players and the people that we would dominate any other team with on 2K or Madden or et cetera, et cetera. But
Yeah.
they're never the ones that win the whole thing.
Like I said,
Well, I mean, I don't want to say never, but
listen, man, I've used Golden State with KD plenty of times on 2K, and I saw them win a couple of championships. So I'm not saying it's impossible, but there is a chance that Brooklyn could have it.
I don't know. I think people need to. I think despite the Bulls losing to the Nets, I still think people need to watch out for the Bulls. But
Okay.
And this
That's
doesn't
fair.
sound great because the Warriors did kind of get a little bit demolished yesterday by the Bucks. But
Yeah, they did.
I think the Warriors are a team that people need to look out for as well.
So let me ask y'all this.
Just like 2016.
And I didn't mean to cut you off there. So y'all two are both saying that Brooklyn would not be y'all's title favorites, correct?
No.
I'm not saying
if I had to make a bracket right now, no, there would not be.
because I wouldn't either. I would still put Milwaukee up there too.
Well, now you're talking. Milwaukee looked phenomenal, as Kevin mentioned, against the Golden State Warriors the other night. I mean, they made them look like
Giannis is
winning
just
the same
playing.
league.
Yeah, he's just playing with the
He's just
league,
playing.
man.
He's just playing, man.
Yeah, that to me, like I said, I just truly believe the Eastern Conference Finals is going to be Milwaukee and Brooklyn. As long as, obviously, they're not the 2 and the 3 seed, and they have to play in the semifinals. And
As a
whatnot.
Mavs fan, I'm just surprised that we're at 5th and we're barely over 500.
Yeah.
5th in the West. I mean, hey, listen, it's Luka and KP. Obviously, KP's been out.
But we've been having a lot of COVID issues, including Jason Kidd still being out.
Yeah,
So
Luka, first of all, the first thing I'm going to tell Luka if I'm, head coach Jason Kidd is like,
over Zoom call, of course.
yeah, exactly, over Zoom call, 6 feet, obviously. I would tell him that Luka, come into the season in shape because it's now back-to-back seasons.
I
of Luka.
agree
Yeah, that's
100,000%.
He's done it the last 2 seasons, and it's a big part of why Dallas has started not great these past 2 years. And I think if he just were to take the offseason seriously and just to work on his body, work on his conditioning, it would do wonders for the Mavs playoff spot. Because you could argue they could be fighting for that 3-4 seed if not for their horrible start at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's been happening the past few years. They start off horrible, and then they pick it up, and then they're dominant towards the end of the year, and then we first round exit every single time.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, let's Anthony Cullen, one of y'all want to pull up the MVP favorites?
I got him right here for you, brother.
All right. So, give me the top 5.
Top 5. So
Yes.
I'm going to list them as favorite going down, okay? So Stephen Curry, according to VegasInsider.com, Stephen Curry is the favorite to win league MVP at plus 135. Kevin Durant for Brooklyn is number 2 at plus 220. Giannis Antetokounmpo is 3rd at plus 750. Nikola Jokic for Denver is 4th at plus 1,400. And at 5th, that man from Memphis, Ja Morant, at plus 2,500 is the 5th best odds to win league NBA MVP as of this morning.
Now, tell me, where does DeMar DeRozan rank on there?
DeMar, so he's 6, 7, 8. He's 8th at plus 3,500. He's behind LeBron James and Joel Embiid.
That's uncalled for.
Yeah, it is. I mean, honestly, DeMar DeRozan should be a little bit higher. And I mean,
I hate to cut you off, Anthony, but I think that the term most valuable player nowadays is thrown way out of proportion. I think people are thinking, who is the best player in the NBA right now? And that is not what the MVP is. It is who is the most valuable player to their team.
They have done this with MVP awards in multiple leagues, not just the NBA. To be honest, the Heisman Award, honestly, has done this for many years now.
Very much so.
And they just
But they are not. But it's not called most valuable player.
right. And
Yeah.
at least they have that right, and they don't have that tag on it.
It's really who's the best quarterback.
Right, seriously. And the NBA just needs to, I don't know, rename this award to something else. Maybe after Kobe. Maybe after Mike. Whoever you want to name it after. But they gotta figure out that, because it's not really clear necessarily on how the NBA media votes for this award. Because it's really, is it the best player on the best team? Is it who is actually most valuable to their team? Is it the best player in the NBA? I mean, we really don't have like a clear way of knowing how the media votes on this award. I think that's my biggest issue with it.
I agree. Like I said, DeRozan not being top 5 is absolutely pitiful to me. Ja Morant up there makes sense. Jokic makes sense. I mean, especially without Murray. I mean, it completely makes sense. I'm not saying those guys aren't good, but Steph being number 1 is kind of ridiculous. I get it. The Warriors were struggling for a while, but they're still stacked.
Yeah, that's true. They're still stacked, especially with Clay coming back and Draymond. I mean,
They're still
you still have
stacked.
your core.
Yeah, Clay's not in game shape yet, and I'm really interested to see James Wiseman because I think that just gives them another element that they could go to.
Yeah.
Versus the bigger teams. So
anyway, so to wrap up that, who do y'all think will win the MVP?
Honestly, I
know it's kind of early, so
mean, and it's kind of hard. I mean, Steph is having a great season right now. Giannis is
I feel like
dominating
it's
the league.
died down though.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, I would say since Clay's coming back. I mean, I don't think he's gonna the rankings are gonna be high as much for Steph.
I
But
agree.
I would say Giannis, Jokic, and KD are at least gonna be top 3.
where's Giannis at on that list?
Giannis was third.
Okay.
Giannis
Just
was
making
third.
sure.
To answer your question, Kevin, I made some predictions before the year. I did pick Kevin Durant to win the league MVP just because I heard what Kyrie was doing throughout this whole vaccination thing, and I kind of figured that could play into Kevin Durant's hand coming off the injury and just being able to, put up some extra numbers now that Kyrie wasn't taking some of those touches. I didn't realize how bad Harden would fall off this year due to
It's
the
going to
rule
be
change.
hard for anyone to win against Kevin Durant, especially if the Nets continue to do good, because if he don't play, they lose.
Yeah.
That's true.
Ultimately, Curry was the one leading the MVP race by a mile, and it's really closed the gap ever since he broke that 3-point record, because he hasn't shot the best since that moment that he broke it in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, that's true.
So
That's true.
I think it's a wide open race. I agree. I mean, if you throw Steph, KD, Giannis,
That's really
and
it
Jokic,
at least your top 3 is
Yeah.
going to be Steph, Giannis, and Kevin Durant.
absolutely.
I mean, KD, because like honestly, with Kevin Durant, you don't know what you're going to get from the other side. Like
True.
Kyrie may not play at home games. You don't know what you're going to get from James Harden.
Well, they're trying to change that. The Kyrie to play the home games.
Yeah, they're trying
And
to
we'll
make
see how far they get.
Yeah.
But right now, Kyrie not playing at home games. And then
now,
James
yeah.
Harden's, playing how James Harden plays right now, not Houston James Harden.
Of course.
And it's like, okay, KD, give him the ball, get out of the way. Like,
So, speaking of players not playing, what's the recent things on Ben Simmons?
So I believe you pulled up that article, Kevin, correct?
Yes.
Okay, it's not loading. Oh, there it is. Of course, as I say something, it loads. Basically, so Ben Simmons' agent met with the Philadelphia 76ers. He flew from Los Angeles to Philadelphia to try to come to a resolution. Obviously, this impasse that they've had has been going off since the offseason. Ben Simmons has not appeared in a game for the Philadelphia 76ers this season. And ultimately, he's collecting his money. Yes, he's having to pay fines for every game that he misses, but, relative to his salary, I think he's doing okay, safe to say. I don't perceive anything particularly, new coming in the next few days. Hopefully, we will get something done by the trade deadline, but I think it's just the same old story.
When's the trade deadline?
It's at shortly after the All-Star break.
Okay.
I don't have the exact date pulled up in front of me, but
So I know that it's not, there's not a lot of talks right now with the Ben Simmons deal, and I know the 76ers don't want to deal with it because they're in the middle of trying to move up the ranks. But, what is the chances that Ben Simmons goes to a contending team? With all this smoke that's going on,
I don't know, man.
does a contending team even want to touch him?
I don't think so. His trade value is down so much. He can't shoot the ball. He can play great defense. He can facilitate the ball. Fantastic. But he just can't shoot the ball. And honestly, I don't think that you really need that if you have shooters around you. I would say last year, people were talking about, it was in the offseason, they were talking about trading Ben Simmons to Golden State. And if you did that, you could be fine because you have shooters all around you.
But that's what Draymond is.
No, but that's the thing.
But Draymond can shoot.
But Draymond can shoot.
Ish. I don't want to
Mid-range at least.
I mean, he can shoot, but Ben Simmons can't shoot the ball. He can't shoot a brick.
No, Ben Simmons does. Ben Simmons won't shoot the ball. It's not that he won't shoot it.
Well, he shoots good mid.
He will not shoot it.
He shoots decent mid.
Like Draymond can't shoot from 3 at a rate that obviously Steph and Clay can't, but he'll at least, like, if you just leave him wide open, he'll at least throw it up. Ben Simmons, you can leave him wide open, nobody within 10 feet of him, and he will not shoot the shot. That's the thing that boggles my mind. Just to answer your question from earlier, the trade deadline for the 2022 season is February 10th.
Yeah, that's coming up.
Yeah, that is coming up.
It's coming up fast.
So, I mean, would Ben Simmons look good on the Mavericks? I mean, we have defense, true.
It would help Luka a lot, I think.
Would he be the third superstar that we need?
So here's the thing. If a trade like that were to happen, obviously you would need to swap salaries. So you would have to give up KP in a trade hypothetical scenario, unless you were to.
I don't think we'd have to get rid of KP.
Are you sure?
Very.
Okay. If you
you can put together a trade package with Brunson that looks really good. The Sixers.
I'm not saying player per player. I'm saying for the salaries to work.
Because they need a scorer that's not big.
Well, I understand. Here's the thing that I don't necessarily love that move for Dallas is because Ben Simmons, what he is, right, is he is your floor general, right? He is your floor general. He's the guy that you sit there.
Well, not right now.
Well, obviously, right? But if he's on your team, he's the guy that you sit there, he's bringing the ball up the court, he's going to try to get the offense going, he's going to play great defense, all that, right? The Mavs already have that. Luka is that. Like, what the Mavericks need for their second superstar is a guy that, yes, he can create off the bounce, but that's not the only way that he can help the Mavericks win.
Yeah. And even by salary, I mean, Ben Simmons' contract is $33 million.
Right.
KP's is $31 million.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, it just don't make sense. Like, it to me, it doesn't make sense because you're selling a bad contract to another bad contract, or a not so good contract. I'll say that.
Yeah.
And
because you can't, I'm not sure of because I know the 76ers are pressed against the cap. I'm not sure about what Dallas's cap situation is looking like, but I'm willing to bet that they just can't straight up trade Ben Simmons for a guy like Jalen Brunson off the bench and just call it even.
I mean, you'd have to add KP. If you were to trade KP, you would have to add some other assets, obviously. Right. KP, Jalen Brunson, and another pick.
Right.
To get Ben Simmons. But, I mean, Ben Simmons, I think it would help, but what are you going to... Both of them are ball-dominant players.
Right.
Like, Ben Simmons needs the ball in his hand, so does Luka. So what are you going to do when they don't have the ball in their hand?
Because if you play Luka and Ben Simmons on the floor together, where are you going to put Ben Simmons? You have to essentially have Ben Simmons as the roller or the guy's the dunk spot, and it just doesn't work. I mean, we see what LeBron James has to deal with Russell Westbrook, who also can't shoot. At least Russ, again, will force the shot.
Yeah. Ice cold.
You guys see what the Kings did to Russell Westbrook?
Trey. Yeah, he was not happy about it.
That was so funny.
The NBA told him they can't do that anymore.
And that's coming from a Lakers fan in Anthony, too.
Hey, I'm just saying. And apparently AD's supposed to be returning pretty soon.
They need it.
Yeah, they do.
They need it.
But, I mean, I think, going back to the Mavericks, I mean, you trading Ben Simmons for KP. I mean, can Joel Embiid even play with Kristaps Porzingis?
That's another thing, too.
On
you
the
don't
same
even consider it that end.
Court?
Right. I mean, because KP obviously can stretch the floor and everything, but, like, the Twin Tower, quote-unquote, aspect of having, like, two bigs in there is just a very outdated concept in the NBA. I don't see it working.
I mean, they work it in Indiana with, Sabonis and Miles Turner, and they work that perfectly.
Which is fine, but I just don't see KP. Well, it's KP and Sabonis's game.
Not the same. It's definitely not the same.
Their game's not. I just couldn't think of the word. Jesus.
Yeah, they're not the same. But I mean, just having Joel Embiid and Kristaps Porzingis on the court at the same time. I mean, they both basically played the same.
I just don't see Daryl Morey going for that personally. I really don't, because I feel like he's really trying to get a guard that can sit there and run the pick and roll with Joel, and that it can also take the scoring pressure off of his big man.
I don't know. So
great insight.
Yeah. Great insight. So Anthony, you mentioned earlier the Pacers. I'm just catching wind that the Mavs are actually, and I know I'm Mavs biased, but this is the most recent trade rumors that I've gotten so far. But there's a rumor going around. The Mavericks are interested in either getting Miles Turner or John Collins. What are y'all thoughts on that? Who would you take over? Would you take Miles Turner or John Collins if you're the Mavs?
If I am the Mavs, and big shout out to the president, CEO of the Mavericks. Big shout out to you, who's doing a fantastic job over there. If I were the Mavericks, I would, and if I was trading Kristaps, I would trade for.
I don't think we trade Kristaps in this situation.
So you would have Miles Turner and Kristaps on the same court.
Yes,
Kevin. Let me ask you this.
You already have Miles Turner with Sabonis right now.
Right. Right. Kevin, let me ask you: Are you of the opinion that the Mavs should keep Kristaps or should trade him?
So whenever Kristaps first got here and he had all his injuries, I wanted him gone, but after the report came out earlier or later last year about the issues that Coach Carlisle was causing with the Mavericks and the friction that he was creating between him and Luka, him and KP, and all that, I kind of really got a real good picture of why KP was playing the way he was and why he wasn't being efficient. Since Kid's taken over, KP's been I don't even want to say dominant, but he's been a scorer. He's been making points. He has been what we needed.
Right.
I think we need a third star. Getting rid of KP to add someone else is putting us essentially in the same situation.
Yeah.
No, I mean I get that.
I can see that.
So as a
Mavs
fan, I want to hope that we can work out a trade deal where we give up a really good prospect, or not a really good prospect, but a really good young player in Jalen Brunson. As much as I love Jalen Brunson, his game,
he's a baller.
I love him so much, but I understand as a player or as a fan that we can't keep him and get someone good. I just don't see it happening. If we could, dude, I'd love that.
So would you trade Jalen Brunson for John Collins?
I mean, in my opinion, Jalen Brunson could be
like a starter.
Well, no, I don't want to say starter, but as far as this year, I think he could definitely be a runner in sixth man of the year.
I can see that too. I mean, he's putting up numbers that are really, really good this year.
And he's young, man. He's young.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't know if, trading Jalen Brunson, like let's say for Miles Turner, I just don't know how it would work. I mean, Miles Turner is such a dynamic big. I mean, but I think just with some of the injuries he's had in the past couple of years, it's like, okay, you get Miles Turner, KP, both very injury prone. They're both out. Who are you going to put in there? Powell? Like, I'm just saying. I mean, you just got to be careful with that. I mean, John Collins, on the other hand, he's a high-flying bird, in the sky who can jam it down as a power forward. And, I mean, you see what he does with Trae Young. And, I mean, if Luka was with that, who knows what could happen?
I think
he's more dynamic, too.
Right. I agree with Anthony's take. I would take John Collins over Miles Turner just to give some clarification for our viewers or listeners out there. John Collins this season is averaging 16.7 points, 8.4 rebounds, 1.6 assists, about a half a steal and a block per game. Whereas Miles Turner, he's 12.7 points per game, averaging 6.7 rebounds, 1.2 assists, 0.7 steals, but 2.3 blocks per game. Me personally, the Mavs already have, and I don't want to, this is going to sound weird when I say this, but Kristaps Porzingis is not the most athletic in terms of like being able to laterally move with his feet, jump up in the air.
Dude, he's 7 foot. What do you expect?
No, but that's what I'm saying, though. So I don't want to get another player similar to that, a.k.a. Miles Turner, to go with that. So I'd rather have the more athletic, explosive, option that could potentially anchor the defense in John Collins. And I just think John Collins is the better player out of those two.
I don't think that John Collins could really anchor the defense. I mean, obviously Miles Turner could anchor the defense. I mean, Miles Turner almost led the league in blocks. He was like at least second last year.
So, which is fair, and I understand that they are averaging 2.3 blocks for Miles Turner as compared to 1 for John Collins. But
right.
I do believe John is an underrated defender. I get that they have Clint Capella down in Atlanta, who's holding it down and carrying a lot of the defensive end. But if you're sitting there and going for a small ball lineup, and you just need somebody where KP maybe can't get on the floor, whether it's due to injury or maybe just a bad matchup. I feel like John Collins would be the perfect guy that you could sit there and play at the 5, and he'd be a perfect kind of stretch big, athletic big that can run and switch on pick and rolls and all that. So that's just my opinion.
I think, and according to a report that I got from Sports Illustrated, it says that Miles Turner is a more likely trade possibility than John Collins because the Hawks actually haven't even expressed interest in getting rid of John Collins.
Right.
That's understandable too.
Right.
And
that's
it's
a key piece.
It's just purely the Mavericks being interested in John Collins, and that's dating back all the way to free agency from last year. So
right.
And according to the report that I looked into, it's showing that and we talked a little bit about Jalen Brunson and his production for the team and his trade
trade value.
Yeah, his trade value, and it's pretty high, obviously. But they're saying Tim Hardaway Jr. is probably out.
Wow.
I know we just signed him to a big deal, but he is not playing great.
He's not. I mean, he's that energizer that you need.
Brunson's outplaying him.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only thing. Yeah, Brunson's definitely outplaying him for sure this season.
I don't know if we can get rid of that kind of hit that he brings to the team, but Miles Turner is definitely the more possible, and that's kind of why I'm leaning to it. Is because I would rather have Miles Turner, who is a Texas native. I mean, he went to UT, but he's expressed playing for the Mavericks before. He wants to play for the Mavs. So I'd rather have somebody who wants to be here over somebody who's kind of traded to be here. That doesn't. It was like, oh, I'm going Dallas. Okay, cool.
Yeah, the New York Mavs.
Yeah,
really.
We do a great job of concealing our affiliations.
Hey, y'all got Dennis Smith Jr. and I really miss him.
I do too, man. I
don't know where he's playing now, but that was some talent wasted.
Yeah. Honestly, like Luka and
he was so good.
I mean, there's the only thing with that session or that stint was, Dennis Smith Jr. played with the ball. He played on ball.
But him and Luka matched. They did good.
Did they though?
They did all right.
Because when Luka came in, it changed. Everything changed.
I thought he did all right. I thought the duo was all right. But that's besides the point. I think Miles Turner would be amazing to put on the Mavericks. At this point, with how dead we were over the offseason, I'm killing for a freaking trade.
I mean, and Miles Turner's contract is only $18 million too.
I wanted Dame Lillard so bad it wasn't even funny.
Dame Lillard's not going anywhere. That's a fact.
Yeah, but he's loyal wherever he goes. He ain't going nowhere unless he gets traded. So
right.
But
if he gets traded,
that's neither here or there. And speaking of Damian Lillard, there's actually a reason why there's no conversations being had in the Blazers facility as far as where he could or could not be going. Why the media is so absent over there is the new owner of the Blazers is also the owner of the Seahawks. Let's see if y'all can make this connection. There's no media connection. She does not talk to the media about what's going on inside. She does not talk to them about who's going where or any kind of there's no daily media meetups.
Oh wow.
Now Cullen, you're a Seattle boy, diehard.
See, if you're gonna rib me, can you say my name? Can you say my name right, please?
I said Cullen.
And it's not semicolon. It's Cullen.
I didn't say semicolon.
You did say colon just now.
You did say colon.
Yeah.
Like colon, like semicolon?
Right. That's what you just
said.
Well,
I've been known to say words wrong.
Exclamation mark. Cullen.
Thank you.
Yeah. Put some excitement to it.
Exactly.
Anyway, that's the reason why there is no Seahawks conversation coming out.
Well,
because she also owns the Seahawks.
She does. Snap. She does. Well, it was her family, so it was I forget her husband's name, but her husband recently passed away.
Exactly.
Over the past year, she took control over both franchises. Yes, the Portland Trailblazers and the Seattle Seahawks are under her kind of control, as you can say. She's actually, believe it or not, meeting with Pete Carroll, head coach Pete Carroll and John Snyder as we speak at this moment. So definitely something. What I will say about the Damian Lillard thing, just to kind of steer us back to the NBA, Damian Lillard is hurt. He's having surgery on his abdominal, so he's not going to be getting traded at the trade deadline. He's going to be out for a minimum of, I don't know, like 8 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks.
It's gonna be a while, yeah.
Yeah, a couple weeks.
So obviously being injured, he will not get traded. We're going to have to resume those talks until the offseason, at least for Damian Lillard.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and big shout out to CJ McCollum because I can't believe he's hurt for.
I'm glad he's coming back.
I mean, yeah, of course he's coming back, but I mean, just all that time he's missed.
Yeah, well, it may explain why.
Hey, CJ McCollum's a baller too.
He's a
He
bucket.
is.
He's a bucket. It's
He
just
is.
I think now, and I mean, we can move on from this. This is like my last point, but it's like you guys have tried the CJ McCollum, Dame, Dollar for years now, and it's not working. I'm sorry. Yes, you made it to the Western Conference Finals against Golden State, but you lost. Come on,
got
guys.
swept.
And you failed to
And
put,
you got swept.
and you
Got
failed to
swept.
put pieces around Dame Lillard.
Exactly. Over and over and over again. So it's like, come on. Okay, that session has to be over.
Last thing I'll say to it, two undersized
But he won't leave.
offensive guards that don't play defense don't work. Take notes, Cleveland Cavaliers.
Hey, the Cavs are fine.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
The
you've
Cavs
seen
are
the
fine.
Cavs.
You got bigs that play defense.
just
That's
saying,
all you
You've seen
need.
the Cavs. They're
Listen,
doing just
dog.
all right.
Listen, they got two undersized guards. Colin Sexton, I will say, does play defense. But Darius Garland,
Phenomenal.
Darius Garland's a
defense.
bucket.
he's a bucket, but we'll see.
I don't know. I don't really know. Anyway, to wrap up the NBA, so the MLB and the MLBPA did meet yesterday. But the MLBPA basically said nope. The MLB proposed their thoughts, their ideas, and the MLBPA was like, no, have a good day, see you later.
So there was really no resolution.
As predicted.
Well, the report was, and I quote, no positive.
Yeah.
They had no interest in it.
Spring training now is being threatened very seriously with
So-
no
Yes.
advancement in
So
talks.
spring
Because
training's
we're
gonna be-
not far away from it.
So spring training is going to be in February 2023, right? That's what I'm hearing. Yeah. Yeah.
The good-
2023
Good shot.
or in December, but it's the winter. So we
Yep.
may not have a baseball season, but who knows? I mean, we covered this a couple days on the radio at KNTU, and I mean, we had some stuff about this whole entire thing, and I mean, they just gotta. I don't know. I mean, I understand players want to play their best friends, but you gotta look at the contracts. Like, if the money ain't right, then it ain't tight. Period. So
Yeah.
you're just gonna have to make some hard decisions and just say no. We can't sign you to our ball club.
Right.
Period. Like
Bro,
it's
I'm
it's-
failing right now.
it's literally
Oh, no.
it's literally ridiculous. And the fact that you guys
I'll be
could
right
not-
back, homies.
And the fact that you guys could not get to a solution on this when you had until, I would say, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was December,
hmm
at least December, to get this straight, and you couldn't, it's a problem.
It's a big problem. Man, I'm trying to just think because we went over the dates on Wednesday. Obviously, that podcast didn't air, so I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I believe that the international players free agency opens soon, among other dates. And spring training, like you said, Anthony, is right around the corner, and there's no progress of anything. And obviously, the season was set to start in April. I wanna
Yeah,
say?
yeah, yeah.
April.
Spring training is supposed to be in February.
Dude, and I don't see it progressing anytime soon. I don't see what anything could pursue because the players are dug in on this. The owners are obviously dug in on it, and yesterday was a great chance to at least somewhat progress. Just get some headway as to potentially having a season, potentially having anything every on time, potentially having a resolution, and ultimately we weren't able to get to that point. So
Yeah, it's just ridiculous, honestly, with the whole entire thing. And I mean, Joy Hyman, who's the MLB insider, he tweeted out, I believe yesterday, that, and I quote, MLB raised pay for younger players, higher minimum salary, and more money for Super Twos in their proposal. Players Union saw overall offer as disappointing, end quote. No word about a counter yet. Long way to go, but fortunately, there's still time. How much time is more time? Like how much time do you have?
Well, they are in week 7 in terms of the lockout. So that's how long they've been sitting there going back and forth.
All right, sorry guys, I had to go take care of that. I'm back now. And I will say, I got word. Our picture for the podcast is almost done. So we're making upgrades around here. Just gotta throw it out there.
Anyway, back to what we were talking
Back
about.
to baseball. The more important subject.
How much more time do we have? Not we have. How much time do they have?
Not a whole lot.
Not a lot.
Like 7 weeks into this lockout, and you guys still haven't gotten to a resolution, a solution.
And only met twice.
And only met twice. Like, you guys got to meet a little bit, at least every month or something. At least every other week.
There's got to be budging on one, at least one side.
Pitchers and catchers were slated to report middle of February. Doesn't look like that's happening now.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll just, I don't know, man. We're just gonna have to wait and see. It's definitely up in the air.
Like, who has the highest contract in the MLB right now?
The biggest one, I believe it was just signed not too long ago.
I don't know who has the biggest, but I know Scherzer has a
Scherzer has a huge contract.
He has a monstrous deal.
And it's like, I understand you want to give these players this money. It's millions of dollars, obviously, and I get it. You know, I'm not harping on anybody money right now. I mean, hey, get your money. You know, like for real. If they gonna give it to you, then go get it. But it's like, do we have to pay these players so much money and then get into, money talks where, okay, we ain't got no more money. Like, we're paying this person way too much, and now we're in a lockout.
I mean, the fact that Max Scherzer makes more than the entire Orioles payroll combined is kind of stupid.
So I want to...
I mean, there's things to be addressed, for sure.
So I want to read out the largest contract extensions in MLB history.
Give me 3.
Do you want to give me just the top 3?
Yeah, top 3.
Okay. Number 3, Francisco Lindor.
Okay.
New York Mets, he signed a 10-year, $341 million contract.
Okay, move on.
Runs through 2031.
Jeez, man.
Number 2, name you might have heard of, Mike Trout. Signed with the Anaheim Angels. 10 years.
$360 million.
Definition of baseball loyalty right there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's chilling, man. He's playing in baseball in Anaheim. Summers are great. Weather's great.
No titles.
Yeah,
That's pretty great.
Some things matter.
No titles. That's...
Well, at least the guy who signed for the biggest contract knows a little something about winning titles. Mookie Betts of the Los Angeles Dodgers, 12 years, $365 million.
See, that one makes sense, though. That one makes sense.
You're talking about the Dodgers there.
Yeah. I mean, you bring in Mookie Betts, and he's going to... You know what you're going to get when you sign him, obviously.
He's arguably... I mean, I think he's no doubt top 5 in baseball. You could argue him top 3, top. He's
one of the best. For
Absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Like, no cap Hall
Definitely.
of Famer. Like, for sure. From the resume.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. But some of these contracts, they don't make sense. Like, Mike Scherzer contract, really? That
kinda
much?
Crazy. It's kind of crazy. But he keeps balling, man.
He does.
Yeah, that's true.
Every year you think, all right, so his age is going to start showing and he'll start slipping, and he don't.
Yeah, you're right.
He just don't. Love playing with him on the show.
That's why the MLB's in a lockout right now for 7 weeks. Going on 8.
Because all the players are at home playing on the show.
Exactly.
Yeah, probably. Who knows? All right, y'all ready to wrap up the first hour?
I think so. I think we had a great first hour.
I agree. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed the first hour. Go check out the second one so you can hear what Cullen and Anthony think about Kyrie over AI. That's a hot take for sure. And the coaching issues in the NFL. For now, we're signing off. See y'all in an hour or two. 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 In an hour or two.